Short-term counselling is a time-limited contract. In other words, an end date is agreed. Short-term counselling is also known as time-limited counselling, brief psychotherapy, brief therapy, planned short-term therapy, or solution-focused. These are all goal-orientated, collaborative approaches to short-term therapeutic change.
And those who work in an agency setting will usually offer their clients a minimum of 6 sessions, with flexibility in some cases for an extension. In short-term counselling, there are clear and agreed boundaries when the counselling is to come to an end.
However, counsellors working in private practice can offer more flexibility to extend the counselling contract beyond the 6 sessions, along with an agreed end date.
So, for instance, it may be agreed to work for 12 sessions or 3 months, but it's the agreed number of sessions or the end date that characterises the work as short-term counselling.
Therefore, knowing when counselling is coming to an end is what defines it as short-term or time-limited.
Long-term counselling, sometimes called open-ended counselling, takes as long as it takes.
What decides long-term counselling as different from short-term counselling is that there is no end date agreed.
And long-term counselling can be as long or as short a process that can take as many months or even years.
The ending will naturally reveal itself within the counselling process, and an end date will be set.
So, to help define the differences between long and short-term counselling from the therapeutic goals of counselling, let's pretend you're a long-term therapist, Debs.
Okay.
And I'll pretend I'm a short-term therapist.
That's a good idea.
I'm clever like that, aren't I?
Okay, all right. So I'll start then, shall I? Okay. As a long-term therapist, I work towards change in the client's basic character.
Well, in short-term therapy, I work with my clients' concerns with a practical approach to meet my clients' goals. As a therapist, I'm not working with the notion of curing or changing the client's basic character.
Well, as a long-term therapist, I believe that unless childhood issues are worked through, significant and sustainable psychological change is unlikely. Okay? Developmentally speaking, I work with the client's child whilst engaging with their adult.
Well, as a short-term therapist, I work with the adult's presentation without having to dig up their entire childhood. It maintains that psychological change is inevitable and is a natural progression of maturity.
Well, I listen to my clients presenting problem with a third ear, which involves a deeper exploration for my client. This requires a longer and more organic, less structured, inner process to work with my client's basic pathology.
Well, as a short-term therapist, I place emphasis on my client's strengths, and I get them to acknowledge their inner resources to find solutions to their presenting problems. My clients quite like the idea of this quick relief.
Well, as a long-term therapist, I witness and I acknowledge the changes within my client in the context of my therapeutic relationship with them. And I believe and support I support the significant and sustainable change in them.
Oh, really? Well, as a short-term therapist, I do not observe or witness any significant change, and I accept the fact that change will occur after therapy has ended.
Well, as a long-term therapist, I value the timeless quality of insight and the development of self-awareness. I'm willing to wait and be alongside my client while change occurs.
Well, as a short-term therapist, I accept the time-limited capacity that this work has, and I am unable to wait with the client for change to occur.
Well, in long-term therapy, it's generally unfunded, and my clients pay me for their therapy and they pay it to me directly. Okay, so I benefit from long-term open-ended work as it guarantees my income. However, working ethically, I value the time and the financial commitment from my client as part of the therapeutic process, and all feelings associated to payment is often discussed and explored with me in the relationship.
Well, short-term therapy is cheaper for funders, Organisations, agencies, charities and insurance companies provide a fixed amount of time, and that limits the amount of sessions clients can have. So within this kind of setup, money is a muted factor, and the exchange of money is not part of the therapeutic process.
Well, I view the work as almost always favourable and beneficial to my clients' long-term well-being. That's what long-term therapeutic work's about.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, as a short-term therapist, I view the work as useful, but I consider the time constraints sometimes counter-therapeutic to the overall outcome, but nevertheless, still good.
Well, as a long-term therapist, I value the inner world of my client as more important, and I witness and observe how my client's internal change directly impacts how they're being in their outer world. Therefore, I believe that my client's inner changes will create change in their outer world.
Well, as a short-term therapist, I see the outer world as more important. I focus on how my client operates in the outside world and see this exploration as more important than the therapy itself. I believe the outer changes will create inner change in my client's inner world.
Whatever.
So, to clarify and conclude, there's often a confusion on the differences counselling and therapy have. So to keep things simple, so for argument's sake, let's consider the notion that short-term work is considered counselling and long-term work is considered therapy.
Well, I have a good analogy for that, Riz.
Oh, really?
To describe the difference between counselling and psychotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, counselling or short-term work is like keeping your car functioning on the road. So it's like putting petrol in it, it's servicing the car and make all the maintenance that goes along with it. Mm. And psychotherapy or long-term work is like stripping the engine down and rebuilding it.
Okay, well, the engine works. Anyway. Thanks for watching. We really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like our video, please hit the like button below. It really helps us out. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below and we'll do our best to answer them. So go ahead, please hit the subscribe button now, or go to our YouTube channel or download our app from the Amazon app stores. Until next time. I think you were picking a fight with me, Deb. Let's take this outside.
Come on.
Get out of bed.